What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 150 of the Idiotic Sports Talk. I'm your host, Liam Gavin, coming to you live from my dining room. And today I want to give you all the Week 14 recap around the NFL. Let's start the Thursday game. This was a high-action, drama-packed game, and here's how it went. The Rams won 17-16 over the Raiders. Baker Mayfield, 230 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. Cam Akers, 42 rushing yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. And Ben Skoranek, 7 catches for 89 yards. As for Derek Carr, the Raiders, 137 passing, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And Josh Jacobs had 99 rushing yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, 3 grabs for 71 yards. So the Rams moved to 4-9 and snapped their 6-game losing streak. Baker Mayfield made his first start for the Rams and absolutely delivered. With just a little under 4 minutes left in the game, they were down 16-13, and Baker and the Rams made a comeback. After their first touchdown, the Raiders had to punt, which gave Baker and the offense another crack at to go get the win. They're able to go downfield 98 yards with less than 2 minutes left and no timeouts. And Baker hits Van Jefferson for the game-winning touchdown with just less than 20 seconds left. Baker needed this for his confidence. He just didn't work out in Cleveland. He goes to the Panthers. It doesn't work out there. So now he's on the Rams with a very good head coach, a lot of good supporting pieces around him. So maybe this is what he needs to revive his career. As for the Raiders, they blow another double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. They could be way better than they are, but they just can't protect a double-digit lead. They're up 13 points, and they blow the lead to a guy who was just on the team for 2 days, probably didn't even know the playbook, and that's who they lose to. And a big turning point in this game was before the first half ended, it was 13-3 for the Raiders. And Derek Carr throws a pick in the end zone, which is huge because even if they come away with 3 points on that drive, the Raiders probably win, but the Raiders don't, and they're 5-8. On to the Sunday games. The Lions beat the Vikings 34-23. Jared Goff, 330 passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. DJ Chark, 6 catches, 94 yards and a touchdown. As for Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, 425 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Justin Jefferson, 11 catches for 223 yards. So the Lions improved to 6-7 with a win against their divisional rival. And speaking of Jared Goff, he had an absolutely phenomenal game. The Lions offense as a whole just had a great day. 464 total yards with 134 of them being rushing yards. They didn't turn the ball over, and the Lions defense showed up too with 4 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. And as for Kirk Cousins and the Vikings offense, they had 447 total yards, but 425 of those yards came from Kirk Cousins in the air, while only 22 of those yards came from the running game, which absolutely was horrid the whole afternoon. And the Vikings defense, they got absolutely cooked. They couldn't get a sack, they couldn't get a turnover, they couldn't do anything. And Justin Jefferson's monster performance with 11 catches for 223, it's all foreshadowed now because of the loss. Vikings are now 10-3. Next game is the Ravens taking on the Steelers, beating them 16-14. Tyler Huntley replacing Lamar Jackson. He left with an injury. So now they have Anthony Brown, the third-string undrafted rookie. And, he did his job. He didn't turn the ball over and was able to get the win. And J.K. Dobbins, the running back, had 120 rushing yards and a touchdown. Another rookie, Kenny Pickett of the Steelers, left the game with a concussion. In comes Mitch Trubisky, 276 passing, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. And Najee Harris had a rushing touchdown. So the Ravens get to 9-4 with a win against a divisional rival on the road. And no Lamar, so Tyler Huntley gets the start, but he leaves the game with a concussion. The third-string undrafted rookie Anthony Brown stepped in, and there was really no need to panic because the Ravens rushed for 215 yards. The Ravens' defense also had 3 interceptions, which helped the offense immensely, and everything went wrong. Speaking of offenses, for the Steelers, rookie quarterback getting hurt. They had rushing for just 65 total yards. Trubisky throwing 3 interceptions, 2 of which were deep in Ravens territory that could have changed the outcome of the game. And the Steelers defense could not stop the Ravens running attack. Steelers are now 5-8. Next, the Bengals beat the Browns 23-10. Joe Burrow, 239 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jamar Chase, 10 catches for $119 and a touchdown. And as for Deshaun Watson of the Browns, 276 passing, a touchdown, and an interception. And Donovan Peoples-Jones, 8 catches for $114. So the Bengals move to 9-4 with this win against a divisional rival. Now won 5 straight games. Burrow was 0-4 versus the Browns in his career, but he finally got that win against them. And the Bengals rushed for 136 yards, and the Bengals defense shut down a powerful Browns run game for just 71 yards. And Watson definitely played better than he did in his second game as a Brown than he did last week in his Browns debut. Nick Chubb and company could not get anything going in the run department for the Browns. And outside of Myles Garrett, the Browns defense did absolutely nothing but get shredded. The Browns are now 5-8. Next, the Bills beat the Jets. Bills win 20-10. Josh Allen, 147 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions, 47 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Dawson Knox, the tight end, 4 catches, 41 yards and a touchdown. Mike White of the Jets, 268 passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions. And the rookie running back, Zonovan Knight, 71 rushing yards for a touchdown. So the Bills moved to 10-3 after getting their 4th straight win over a divisional rival. And unlike the first game versus the Jets, Allen avoided turning the ball over, and Josh Allen did all right passing, but he used his legs, which helped him get the win. And the Bills rushed for 102. Speaking of using their legs, Bills defense had 4 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. And the Jets, they had 345 total offensive yards, but they struggled. The run game just had 76 yards and a crucial fumble by Michael Carter. Joe Flacco came in. He fumbled the ball for Mike White after Mike White got hurt. But Mike White, man, he is very tough. He showed that he is willing to die for this team. I thought he was out of the game when he got hit. He got blasted, but he came in and showed how tough he is. And that's, if you're a Jets fan, that's what you want to see from your quarterback, especially with all the quarterback controversy going around and surrounding the Jets this year. And the Jets defense did a solid job, but the Jets offense needed to step up. The Jets are now 7-6. Next is the Cowboys beating the Texans 27-23. Dak Prescott, 284 passing, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Tony Pollard had a rushing and receiving touchdown, and Zeke Elliott had a rushing touchdown. As for Davis Mills of the Texans, he had 175 passing, no touchdowns, and an interception. Jeff Driscoll, 38 passing yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. The rookie running back Dameon Pierce, 78 rushing yards, a touchdown and a fumble, and Chris Moore, 10 catches for 124. So the Cowboys get to 10-3 and now won their 4th straight game. The Cowboys won the Battle of Texas, but it really wasn't easy at all. The Cowboys deserved to lose this game. A fumble. They fumbled the punt. They threw 2 interceptions, and 4th and goal at the 1-yard line. Zeke Elliott got stuffed. But luckily, late in the game, the defense made a huge play on 4th and goal, which gave the Cowboys a chance to go 98 yards for the game-winning touchdown. And it's never easy with the Cowboys. I mean, this game had me pulling my hair out. I even said to my dad, I'm like, you know what, I got to step away from this because I think it's just not going to go our way. And then all of a sudden they win. So, I might have been the bad juju. So, hey, whatever gets the job done, right? And huge shout out to the Texans. They really should have won this game. They had this game in the bag. They threw the kitchen sink at the Cowboys and definitely did not make it easy for them. But unfortunately, they lost their 8th straight game, and their record on the season is 1 win, 11 losses, and 1 tie. Next is the Eagles beating the Giants 48-22. Jalen Hurts, 217, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 77 rushing yards, and a rushing score. Miles Sanders, 144 rushing and 2 touchdowns. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith each had touchdown catches as well. As for Daniel Jones, 169 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions, and a rushing touchdown. And Richie James, 7 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. So the Eagles pummeled their divisional rival. They now have a 12-1 record and won 4 straight games. And the Eagles' offense had 470 yards, and they also were able to run for 253 total yards and 4 total touchdowns. The Eagles' defense feasted with 7 sacks and a forced fumble. And the Giants, it seems like they're returning to old form. The Giants had 339 total yards of offense, but 87 of those yards were from the backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor. So with starters in the game, the Giants had 252 total yards, and the Giants' run game only had 83 yards on the ground. They just struggled immensely. The Giants now have 7 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie on the season. Next, the Jaguars beat the Titans 36-22. Trevor Lawrence, 368 passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a rushing touchdown. Tight end Evan Ingram, 11 catches, 162, and 2 scores. And Zay Jones, 8 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. As for Ryan Tannehill of the Titans, 254 passing, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and a fumble. Derrick Henry, 121 rushing, a touchdown, and 2 fumbles. and the Jags go to 5-8 with a win on the road versus a divisional rival, a tough divisional rival. Trevor Lawrence playing great football right now. The Jags couldn't run the ball. They only had 60 yards on the ground, so Trevor Lawrence put the ball in his hands, and he accumulated 375 total yards and 4 total touchdowns out of the Jaguars' 428 offensive yards. The Jaguars' defense is known for getting cooked this season, but they had a very big game. They had 4 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. And after leading 14-7 in the first quarter, the Titans were outscored 29-8. And the Titans' run defense was on point as usual, but as per usual, their secondary got roasted. They had 4 turnovers on offense, which absolutely hurt their chances to win. Titans are now 7-6 after 3 straight losses. Next, the Chiefs beat the Broncos 34-28. Pat Mahomes, 352 passing, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Jerick McKinnon, 7 catches for 112 and 2 scores. And Juju Smith-Schuster, 9 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. Russell Wilson of the Broncos, he had 247 passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also had 57 rushing yards, but left the game with a concussion. So in comes Brett Rippon, throwing for 16 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And receiver Jerry Jeudy, 8 catches, 73 yards, and 3 scores. So the Chiefs beat their divisional rival on the road and are now 10-3. The Chiefs have now won 13 straight games against the Broncos, and Mahomes is 10-0 in his career versus the Broncos. And at one point, the Chiefs are up 27-0. Next thing I know, I blink, and it's 27-21 after Mahomes throws a couple picks. And the Chiefs were able to avoid a complete choke, a complete disaster. And as for the Chiefs' defense, they gave up 28 points versus an awful Broncos offense. But, they were able to get 6 sacks and 2 interceptions, 1 being a pick 6. As for the Broncos, they almost got the comeback for the ages, and who knows, they might have if Russell Wilson didn't get hurt. The Broncos offense actually looked competent for once, and the Broncos sadly are eliminated from the playoffs with this loss. They are now 3-10 on the season with 5 straight losses. The next game is the Panthers beating the Seahawks 30-24. Sam Darnold, 120 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. Chuba Hubbard, 74 rushing yards and a touchdown. As for quarterback Geno Smith, 264 passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Marquise Goodwin, 5 catches, 95 yards and a touchdown. And DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett each caught a touchdown pass. So the Panthers keep their playoff hopes alive and go to 5-8 with this win. The Panthers offense didn't turn the ball over and rushed for 223 total yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And the Panthers defense had 3 sacks and 2 interceptions. The Seahawks are now 0-4 versus the NFC South. The run game was absolutely awful with just 46 rushing yards, and Geno Smith had 2 crucial interceptions. Seahawks now go to 7-6. Next, the Niners pummeled the Bucs 35-7. The rookie Scott Purdy, 185, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a rushing touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, 119 rushing and a touchdown. He also had a receiving touchdown on the day. As for Tom Brady, 253 passing, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. And Chris Godwin, 5 catches for 54 yards. So the Niners now go to 9-4 and won 6 straight games. Scott Purdy had 3 total touchdowns and no turnovers. The Niners offense had 404 yards. The run game had 209 of them. Niners defense had 2 picks and a forced fumble. And Tom Brady grew up a Niners fan in the Bay Area. But, he didn't get a warm homecoming. The Bucs offense was struggling, especially the run game with just 69 yards. And the Bucs defense couldn't get anything going as they're now 6-7. Next, the Chargers beat the Dolphins 23-17. Justin Herbert, 367 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. Mike Williams, 6 catches for 116 and a touchdown. And Keenan Allen, 12 grabs for 92 yards. Tua Tagovailoa of the Dolphins, 145 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. Tyreek Hill, 4 catches, 81 yards and a touchdown. He also had a fumble recovery touchdown on the night. So the Chargers get a must-needed win and go to 7-6. Justin Herbert was on fire. The offense had 449 yards with no turnovers. The defense held his own versus a very lethal offense. And the Dolphins were just absolutely disgusting. They had 237 yards on offense, and Tua just completed 10 out of 28 passes. The Dolphins struggling versus good teams down the stretch, which is something you don't like to see in December. They are now 8-5. The final game is the Monday night game. The Patriots beating the Cardinals 27-13. Mac Jones, 235 passing, no touchdowns and interceptions. Pierre Strong Jr., the rookie running back, 70 rushing yards and a touchdown. And as for Kyler Murray of the Cardinals, he tore his ACL very early in the game. So Colt McCoy steps in. 246 passing, no touchdowns, and an interception. And DeAndre Hopkins, 7 catches, 79 yards, and a fumble. So the Patriots go to 7-6 and keep their playoff hopes alive on Monday Night Football. The Patriots defense had 6 sacks, an interception, and a fumble touchdown. Kyler Murray for the Cardinals tore his ACL. Speedy recovery to him. I know he just got paid, and he's having a really rough season. A lot of people are bashing him because he likes playing Call of Duty and all this stuff, and he complains and all this. But no matter what you feel about the guy, you got to feel bad when you see someone just tear their ACL, especially an explosive athlete like him. And because he was gone, the Cardinals offense was just non-existent. And I knew this game was over once it was tied 13-13. DeAndre Hopkins fumbled the ball where the Pats defender scooped it up and ran it back for 6. The Cardinals now lost 3 straight games and are 4-9 on the season. So that's it for the Week 14 recap around the NFL. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on my Instagram. Do what you can to like, share, and promote my content. Have a wonderful week and enjoy.